Welcome back, watch people. Now straight into the topic today, and that is all about the Rolex 124-300, the new Rolex Oyster Perpetual 41. There's been a lot of hype, a lot of talk, etc. There are, of course, a lot of different colour dial options out there, all of them, particularly some of the more vibrant ones, proving very popular amongst watch buyers, and they are quite a sought after watch at the moment. Now, I wanted to do a video that was twofold today. Firstly, I wanted to try and give some authorised dealers a little bit of good publicity. After all, you know, I get fed up myself with calling them out time and time again. So I wanted to do a video today that was a little bit more positive as far as ADs was concerned. So before I made this video, I thought on your behalf I'd call around a few ADs just to see what availability is like. And I got some good, some pretty bland, and some rather terrible responses from the authorised dealers that I spoke with. And in theme with me trying to keep this video positive as far as ADs are concerned, I'll tell you the good news first. Watches of Switzerland in Brighton, my local AD, were actually very nice, very kind, very professional on the phone when I called this morning to ask about the availability of an Oyster Perpetual 41. I thought the salesman that spoke to me was very professional. The information he gave me was accurate. It was good information. He said to me that, look, I'm sorry, we can't help you with that watch at the moment. We don't have any in stock. They've all been sold. But you've done the right thing by calling. He said, I would suggest that you call every couple of weeks to see if the situation's changed. He said, we're probably not expecting too much in between now and the new year, but it won't hurt to give us a call. He asked if I had a dial colour preference, which again I thought was a good question to show that he was actually interested in what I was asking. And finally, he said to me at the end of the conversation, and this is why I would give him a solid 10 out of 10 for his info. He did say that in his opinion, he felt that these watches would slowly but surely start to filter their way through and eventually become a readily available shop window watch, which very much goes in line with my own thinking and my own thoughts. And I'll come to that a little bit later on in the video. The next two calls were a little bit ambiguous. Neither salesman had really much to say apart from they had nothing in stock, didn't offer any information, good or bad. So, you know, so a very sort of neutral response. The last call that I made was the one that really sort of kind of was the worst and actually wound me up a little bit. I'm not going to name the AD, I'm not going to get into that today. Again, I was told that there were none available. I was told that this watch is very rare. Not sure about that. I was told that there was absolutely no chance of these watches hitting their store anymore, at least before the start of the new year. Fair enough. And at that stage, you know, despite the fact that I'd been told that this watch was very rare, I was prepared to let it go. I was almost, you know, just about to bid the salesman a thank you and goodbye when he hit me with, do I have a relationship with the store? And I couldn't resist at that stage. You know me, guys, I couldn't resist in giving him the chance to shoot himself in the foot. So I said, what do you mean a relationship? I'm not really quite sure what you mean. I've phoned up to buy a watch. What are you talking about, relationships? And he went into this sales rant about how I would need to go to the store if I wanted to acquire one of these watches. Remember, guys, we're not talking about a watch from the professional sports range here. We're talking about a pre-standard Oyster Perpetual 41, albeit a new model. He said that I would need to travel to the store to register my interest. I would need to build a relationship with the store by spending money on other watch brands, on jewellery, etc. He gave me the full BS experience, the full AD BS experience. And I told him, I let him burn himself out. And at the end of him doing that, I told him that I thought his approach was appalling, and that if I wanted to overspend on a pretty basic watch that, by the way, isn't hard to find, because if I want to overspend, I can find as many as I like on Chrono 24 today. I told him that I wouldn't be calling back, and I certainly wouldn't be travelling to his store either today or any time in the near future, because what he's actually suggesting was based on a lie, and it's based on a myth that authorised dealers like to perpetuate to fill their own pockets. Naturally, he wasn't particularly impressed himself, and he told me sarcastically at the end of the conversation that if I can find these watches, as I suggested, then he said that maybe I should go and buy them. And I said, thank you very much. As I've already said, if I want to overspend on a basic Rolex model, I can do that any day of the week without spending thousands of my pounds in your store on goods that I don't want. So that's the good and the bad. Let's talk about the watch itself for a moment and that availability, because what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to pop a few examples of prices that I'm seeing being asked for this watch on Chrono24 on eBay today. Now, obviously, most of you will be aware already that some of the dial colours are proving more popular than others, and quite naturally, the more vibrant dials, I think, are making more money than perhaps the standard black, silver dials, etc, etc. Now, I think that what Rolex will do, a little bit like, do you remember when we was kids and we used to collect football cards or whatever? They'd always make one or two of the players double hard to get, and you had to buy, you know, 50 packs, and you had bubble gum coming out your ears before you finally got the player that you wanted. Well, I think that's what Rolex are going to do a little bit with these watches. They're probably going to keep one or two of the dials a little bit harder to find. In my opinion, it's probably going to be that corally red colour, maybe the Tiffany blue, could be the green, but for me it's probably the red and the blue that are going to be less available, deliberately less available. But my gut feeling with the OP41s is that Rolex have introduced this range into their lineup to fulfill a certain type of customer. That's the customer that doesn't necessarily want to buy a Datejust, but wants to buy a Rolex that looks a little bit sporty, isn't in the sports range as such, but it kind of fills a void, doesn't it, a little bit? And I think these watches will become readily available in authorised dealer shop windows. When? Well, I think that will be, my prediction at least, is spring in 2021. I think we've got to get Christmas and the New Year out of the way now in the watch business. I've told you before, guys, the two busiest months of the year, for me at least, and I think for the vast majority of watch dealers, are of course the two busiest periods, Christmas and indeed the New Year. January is also a very busy month when you're a watch dealer, particularly for selling, not so much for buying, but a lot of people still want to buy a watch in January. December, January, very busy. So you're not going to see much in the window during this time. But I think as we progress into 2021 and we come in towards the spring, you know, March, April sort of time, I think the vast majority of these dials will eventually be quite readily found in authorised dealer shop windows. And I wouldn't encourage you, and you know, I have to be careful because I have a lot of dealer friends, etc. I don't want to upset them, guys, but as I've always said, my number one duty of care is to you, my loyal viewers and my subscribers. This is the Inform Watch People's channel. And I've got to be straight with you. I don't recommend you pay the prices. Look, how much should you pay for one of these watches right now, today, if you really, really want one? Well, look, you know, 5.5 maybe. Anything over that, and you are, in my opinion, throwing money into a watch that you perhaps shouldn't be. As I said, there's a caveat to this. It does come with a but, and that but bit might be one or two of the dial colours that I think Rolex will deliberately hold back and make them less readily available. But the more standard colours, I think they're going to be hitting the shops pretty soon. Just show a little bit of patience, guys. I don't think there's any need to be paying way over list for these watches. And I think what was really pertinent with the conversation I had with the guy at Watches of Switzerland this morning is he said himself that his feeling was that these watches are slowly but surely finding their way into dealers' windows. Now, I just want to finish by paying that particular salesperson in Watches of Switzerland in Brighton every respect, because, you know, in the past I have been quick to knock AD, authorised dealer salesman, but this guy was really good. He didn't lie to me, he didn't try and feed me with information that I didn't want to hear or put things into my mind that weren't true. And for him to say that he felt these watches were coming through slowly but surely, I was impressed with that info, because I believe that information is true, in stark contrast to the last salesman who told me that these watches are extremely rare. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. Please do all the usual YouTubey stuff. Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe and all that. Still trying to grow the channel, obviously, and I really appreciate your help in doing so. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll speak again soon.